Now one of these nicely designed templates, I'm going to start with just this blank template here, blank services. Doesn't really have much of a design. So let's go ahead and start with this site. This is a pretty bare bones, blank, easy to work with template. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to change the row background. People love photos, so I'm going to add an image as the background to this design. So let's go ahead and choose an image. Now I can upload images. I don't have any uploaded for this template, so you can also use textures if you want, but in Duda we have our built-in stock photo gallery filled with free images that we can use. So I'm actually just going to use this one of coffee right here. This looks like a pretty good idea. So, okay, we can see that the image is repeating. So if I move this down here a little bit, you can see that we've got the end of the keyboard. So it's in here 3 times. That's not what we want. I want this image to stretch all the way across. So we go down. I can tell it, okay, let's use not the full image, but the cover to go just the full width here. And look how nice that looks already. It's looking pretty good. It is a little bright, and it's a little hard to read the text here. Let's see if maybe I want that to be a little bit taller so we can see a little bit more of the coffee here. Okay, so we can do that. So it's nice, but now my text is a little bit washed out, and those hands are really bright. So what I can do, and this is new in our new editor, we can go to Edit Design. We can actually add a background overlay to this. So I go ahead and turn on the background overlay. For my overlay color, I'll choose this like a dark color here, black, and I'm going to adjust the opacity. The opacity is how transparent or opaque something is. So I'll probably drop this down to about 20% opacity. Maybe I'll do 30%. There we go, and you can see that that darkens the image just enough that my text still kind of stands out here. But what's happening? So yeah, I'll just enter in some sort of random corporate B sounding slogan. Actually, I don't want it bold. Let's make it semi-bold. Okay, so we can go ahead. I made it white, made it semi-bold, I made it stand out. That's not a bad change here for just a few seconds. So adding that nice image background, making the row a little bit taller, adjusting the font here a little bit, really have a design that's kind of standing out a little bit already. And I haven't really done much to the site. So it's pretty quick to hop in here and make some changes. Now, unfortunately, I know we don't have a lot of time left. So really, before diving into anything else, I wanted to just check in with you guys to see if you guys have any questions or anything. So let's go ahead and go to the questions here. Angie's asking, will these slides be available to us after the webinar? I could include the slides for you guys in the follow-up email if you'd like, no problem. Adam's asking, can you change the nav button layout? For example, if I like a certain template with the navigation buttons from another template. That's a good question. So the navigation is still one thing that cannot be changed from template to template. So that's the sort of thing that you really need to keep an eye on when you're choosing a template to make sure it's got the navigation style that you want to use. Now, there is the ability to change some navigation options. For example, if we can go to the header, I can go in here and I can edit the navigation buttons. I can change the spacing in between them. I can move them around inside of here, but I can't change the entire style like I can like from a different template. So that's a good question. No problem, Arnold. We'll send the slides. Cool. So any other questions, guys? Or I know we're right about at the time here, so we've got actually got quite a, I think we actually have more than 10 people on the call today. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to raise your hand inside GoToWebinar, or just go ahead and ask it in the chat. Adam's asking, should we not be using pop-ups on websites since Google is penalizing websites for this practice? That's a good question. So you can definitely use pop-ups on websites. Google, the only penalties coming from Google are for mobile use of pop-ups. So they don't want that interstitial or overlay pop-up on a mobile device that is prompting you to download an app rather than engage with the content on the mobile site. So what I would do is I'd just not show the pop-up automatically on mobile, and you'll be fine. You can still show them up on desktop. It's still a common practice. It's a great way to get opt-ins into newsletters, but just don't have the pop-up show up on mobile, and you'll be okay. Digby, you're raising your hand, so I'm going to go ahead and let me unmute you and just ask your question. You should be able to speak now.
Things like that.
Oh, yeah, I can hear you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Definitely can't you do it?
Yeah. Yes, Digby, I can hear you.
Okay, on your on the new editor, when I do a gallery with a text on top, which works fine on the computer, but on the tablet and the cell phone, it puts the text below the image, but it throws it out of alignment if a text is one line or a two line.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure I quite follow. So you're saying when you text on top.
Okay, on the gallery, you've got you can do a text where you put the mouse over the picture and the text comes up.
On a photo gallery. Okay.
Yeah, photo gallery. Yeah. And then if you which works fine on the computer, but on the tablet and then the cell phone, it puts the text below the image. But if it throws it out of alignment in the rows of the pictures and the text.
So like right here where it says City Skyline Birthday Sparks, Fashion Magazine. So you're saying if I go over to tablet.
This is, if you go to tablet version, it shows it as below.
Mm-hmm.
Right. See, like that.
There's no way to mouse over on a tablet?
No, I understand that. But now some of my text is short and some are long. So and I have two rows of images. So it throws the images up into the spacing is all wrong between the two rows.
I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, that's okay. That's pretty interesting. I think what would be best for you to do is if you could take a screenshot of the photo gallery, your photo gallery that you're talking about with the spacing issues, and if you could send that in to our support team so that they can take a look at it and send that up as a feature request for developers to look at coming up with a solution for, that probably be the best way to go about that.
Yeah, I have already done that.
You have?
Yeah, and they said they've sent it off to somewhere else to have it looked at.
Okay, yeah, it might take a little while for a solution to come back, but if you want to email me, it's cody@dudamobile.com and send me the screenshot. I can go ahead and follow up with them.
Okay,
sure.
That'll be great. Thanks very much.
Yeah, no problem.
This is definitely not.
But is it nice?
Okay, anyone else? Any questions or anything like that? Per saying, if no pop-ups on mobile due to Google, then personalization has lost a lot of its power. Are you certain about this? Maybe you could look into this to have it verified. Well, I wouldn't say that personalization has lost a lot of its power if you don't use pop-ups on mobile. I mean, there's a number of ways that you can use personalization to really impact customers on a website. I mean, if you're setting up a personalization trigger that that shows special content to someone who's in a certain city or at a certain time. Let's say for a restaurant, for example, you know, a happy hour message at a certain time, you're showing a certain button or coupon to a group that is really locally targeted towards that demographic or that that group of people. It's going to be effective still, even if it's not a pop-up. I mean, it can be a row of content, you know, and it can be really targeted even with notification. It doesn't have to be a pop-up. So, for example, if I go over to, I'll just go back to desktop here and go to personalize. Actually, I'll switch over to mobile because you're asking about mobile specifically. But if I go to build my own rule, all right, so we can target by device. So we can say this will be for mobile folks only, and we can do at a specific location at a specific time. So we're going to combine 3 triggers here. And so the first trigger is we're going to do this only for mobile devices. The next trigger here, this is going to be only in a certain area. Let's say this is where I live here in San Francisco. All right, San Francisco, California. And at a certain time, so we're going to change this from January to October. I don't know how familiar you are with American baseball, but this is playoff season for American baseball. So we're going to go ahead and say for October, this is the start of playoffs. We're going to go ahead and write in there. And what we're going to do, instead of doing a pop-up, we can show a notification bar or an entire new row of content. I'll do a notification bar because it's similar. And I'll say inside here, hey, Giants fans, come get half off drinks. Click here. Right, and then we can make the click here. This can be a link to, you know, whatever page you have on your site that you want them to go to. We'll just put this a link to the services page for now. Go ahead and click next, and this will be Giants fan promo. Save the rule, and now we'll go ahead and preview it to see what it'll look like. So I go into my preview mode, and I'll select the rules. So remember, this is only showing to people who are in San Francisco on a mobile phone in October. Let's say we're a local restaurant or something like that. We're going to have this notification that's going to pop up right from the top of the screen. This isn't a pop-up. This is a notification, so this is totally okay in Google's eyes. Hey, Giants fans, come get half off drinks. Click here. And we have a message just for them on mobile. That's still effective. That's targeting a specific group of people. It's a local sports team during the playoff season, you know, and it's a special just for them. And it's only going to show for people who are in San Francisco. People who are across the bay in Oakland who are A's fans, they're not going to see that. And you can have an entirely different message for those people based on their location as well. So you can highly target it, and there's still a lot of value to personalization and still a lot of ways that you can engage with users on mobile, even without pop-ups. So also check out the new row of content. They'll add another row of content. You can add in a coupon or something like that instead. So there's really a lot you can do with it. So check it out. Adam's asking, are push notifications and other features like Facebook albums, they're on the old editor, coming to the new editor before everyone's forced to switch over? That's a good question. Yes, that is the plan. So we're not sunsetting the new editor, or I'm sorry, we're not sunsetting the old editor until I think our plans right now are April. So we have some time, and we're going to be bringing more features over from the previous editor into the new editor. Caruso's got it. Thanks for clearing it up. No problem. Fantastic, guys. Well, thank you so much for asking your questions and participating. I hope you guys got some benefit out of the presentation today and enjoyed the workshop. So thank you very much.